Let's put these two bad boys together and see if we can create a little magic. So whoever said photography was easy? The plank was supposed to be across there, but the river took it down there. Needs must. So here we go. And 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Oh, we're doing pretty good. And we made it. Okay, first thing, we've taken ourselves to Glenbarrow, this beautiful waterfall, and I'm going to use an ND filter to get a long exposure during midday light. Now what do you use? Well, first of all, you're going to need one of these, and this is a Lee ND filter holder, and then you're going to need one of these, which is a Lee ND filter or something equivalent. The idea of the ND filter, ND stands for neutral density, and the idea behind this is it blocks an enormous amount of light. In fact, I can barely see through it, it's so dark. And the idea is that it makes the shutter, it forces the shutter on your camera to stay open for a longer period of time than it normally would. First of all, we have to mount our filter holder, and it comes in two parts. You get a filter ring, and then you get the filter holder. Now the idea of the ring is it connects to your camera lens, like so, and screws on, okay? Then the filter holder just simply attaches to it with a spring release. And then you get your filter and you make sure it's clean. Like so. Now on one side of the filter there is a kind of a seal, or a gasket if you like, and basically what that's for is to eliminate the possibility of light, ordinary daylight, creeping in. And what you do is you put the gasket side next the filter holder, nearest to the lens, and you just slide it in. Now you don't go the whole way down because we don't have our camera set yet, so we just go partially in. Now the next thing you're going to need is one of these, and basically this is a timer, and what it does is it takes control of the camera and the duration of the exposure, because you key in exactly what exposure time you want based on the particular Lee filter that you're using. So I have my composition set up, and I plug this into the appropriate port. Now obviously if you have a Canon camera you have to get a Canon timer. If you have a Nikon or Sony or Olympus, you have to get the appropriate timer for that as well. They're not cross compatible. So I just plug that in there and I switch it on. Now I'm going to set a 5-second delay, and what basically that is, it means that for 5 seconds from the time I hit start, the camera does nothing until this times down. Now the next thing I need to put in is my long exposure. Now I don't know what that long exposure time is going to be until I actually check with the camera. And how do I do that? Well, first thing you do is you put your camera into AV priority and switch it on. I'm working on f8 and I'm working on full wide angle, which is 24mm. I have the rocks here as a bit of foreground interest and the waterfall then in the background. I'm going to half press the shutter, let the camera focus, and half press the shutter. It's telling me at ISO 320. Well, I'm going to go down in the ISO because I want to get the finest quality possible, so I'm going to ISO 100. Right? And again, on that basis, I'm getting a 20th of a second. Right? If I put the lens down in front of it, that's going to increase the shutter speed. So I'm going to refer to my Lee chart, which is this one here, and according to it, in normal shutter speed, if I have a 30th of a second, you're talking 30 seconds of an exposure. If I have a 15th of a second, you're talking a 1 minute exposure. Now I have a 20th of a second. Yeah. So I have a 20th of a second. So I would be looking at somewhere in the region of about 45, 50 second duration. I know I have everything focused. I then switch off my AV to manual focus so that nothing changes when the camera tries to shoot. It won't hunt to look for another focus because you don't want that. Now I'm going to push the filter down nice and steady. Right? And I'm going to put the camera into bulb mode. And I know that I need f8. Just remember your settings. And according to the timer, I need about 45 seconds of a shutter speed. So I'll dial in about 50 seconds. I always like to go a little bit above. Here we go, and hit set. Now, I know when I press that button, I just let the camera get on with it. And away we go. It's exposed now, but I'm not touching it, and that's the idea of the timer, because you don't want anything to shake the camera or move the camera. The only thing that's moving here is the water. And the idea is that because the water is moving and the camera is exposed for 45, 50 seconds, the water then becomes blurred. And it gives you this nice candy floss, milky kind of look. But everything else stays tack sharp, and that's the purpose. So you cannot move anything during the exposure. So we just basically let it get on with it. And patience is a virtue. We're at 46 seconds now. So we're nearly there. And there we go. Now it's going to take another little bit of time to process the image and take any noise out of the image because the exposure is longer than a second. I picked Glenbarrow because it's famous for this waterfall, and it's the perfect opportunity to show you how to get a long exposure on the classic shot is a waterfall. Now I do have another area further down that I am going to go to, and I will show you it, and I'll get another long exposure there. So we'll just let this work away, and there we go. And that looks really well. Now I'm back at the other spot here that I was telling you about, and the reason I picked here is because you have the main fall coming down, and this frothy foaminess on the water is kind of swirling around. It's slow, but it is swirling around. And then we have a kind of a lead off on the frothy foamy water on the corner there, and I just like the idea of it, and the main fall coming down behind it. Now we have the same setup again. We have our filter holder, our Lee filter. Now it doesn't have to be necessarily a Lee filter. You can use other filters, ND filters, and as fellas said, they will do just as good a job. But I just prefer the Lee filter, and same setup. You set your camera to AV, you switch it on, and I don't have the filter pushed down fully, so I basically check by looking through the viewfinder and focusing, and it's giving me, in this case at f8, it's giving me a 15th of a second, so that's now going to be a minute exposure. And remember, before you actually set anything else or even push the filter down, make sure you put your lens to manual focus. Okay? So then we push our filter down, we don't move anything. Put our camera into bulb mode, and we're on f8, and we key in five-second delay again, and then we go to our long exposure and we key in a minute, but I like to go a little extra, so I'll give it a minute and 10. There we go. Set. Put that on our tripod here with a little magnet mount, and we're all set to rock. We're in manual focus. Everything is focused up. Press the button, and hey presto. Just basically let it get on with it. It's that simple. And the whole idea, the whole principle behind this is that the camera is shutter is staying opened really long, and the only thing that's moving is the water, and that's what blurs out, and that's the effect you're looking for. You can do the same trick with clouds. If you have a sky with fast moving clouds, you can do the same thing. Just set up your scene, get your composition right, and could be a nice backdrop of mountains or whatever, and fast moving cloud. And again, with a long exposure, the cloud will come out real fluffy and soft and out of focus kind of looking. But that's the desired look. And the same with water and waterfalls. So we're still working here. We're at 55 seconds. And again, as I say, patience is a virtue with this thing. with long exposures, plus make sure you have plenty of battery power. Battery power is a must. So we're processing now. So shutter is closed, camera is processing, I can walk in front of it if I want. It doesn't matter. So it takes approximately the same duration to process as it does to take the actual exposure. Now, another thing I should have mentioned, I suppose, now this is a kind of a debate, a bone of contention, in that a lot of people switch off image stabilization when they have the camera on tripod. I have mine off. I normally do. Other people say it makes no difference, but I find with this particular Canon 24-105L f4 lens, and it's the Mark I version, it does make a difference, and I'm going to give it every chance. So I do switch off the image stabilizer and work, because I'm on a tripod. I know there's no movement, there's nothing to worry about. And we're still processing here. I can open our thing and take a look. And oh yeah, oh, I'm loving that. I'll put this up on the screen in a minute. Perfect. Just what the doctor ordered. And that's it, folks. That's the art of long exposure using ND filters.